Okay, now we take this a little bit further, and here's our problem. Find the equation of the line passing through the points -4, -1, and 5, 3. So again, we have two pieces of information. In this place we have 2 points, and everybody knows that 2 points can form a line. So I'm going to sketch these out, and I think it's always a good habit. And again, if you want to do well, if you want to get an A, then you need to adopt some of these good habits. Now I don't have to draw a great graph on this because the sketch is merely serving my understanding of the problem and facilitates my working the problem. But so I'm going to be, sometimes a little sloppy on the sketches because I'm not presenting that as my final answer to the problem. All right, so -4, -1 is approximately, we'll say down here. -4, -1. And 5, 3 is, we'll say up about here. 5, 3. So my line connects those dots. And what do we know? What do you know about slope? It looks like it's positive, right? Because the line must rise as you move left to right. So we have a positive slope. About how big is that slope? Well, it's maybe a little under a slope of 1, 145 degrees. So it's probably less than 1, probably a fraction. Okay, it's certainly not a large slope, which would be a steep line. And it's not a very tiny slope, which would be an almost horizontal line. So, and then what about the y-intercept? Well, it's a little more dicey because I'm not using graph paper up here. If you're using graph paper, then you can be pretty certain that the y-intercept, if this was accurate, that the y-intercept is a small positive number. So I'm approximating here. I think my y-intercept is a small positive number, probably less than 1. But I'm not totally sure because I'm not using graph paper. I do know this though. My y-intercept is not a large positive number, it's not a large negative number. And so when I get the equation of the line, we can check that and make sure that the equation we get is not, pardon the pun, out of line. Okay, so let's see, what is the slope? I'm aware people use formulas for calculating these things, and I haven't shown you that formula, neither in the book I wrote nor in the videos. The reason is because people screw that up. And people who use those formulas, in my opinion, haven't learned very much. They've learned how to plug numbers into formulas, but they don't understand very well what's going on. So you go a little bit extra mile here and learn what this means. It can make a big difference to you. So, but as far as formulas, people screw those up all the time because they tend to work them, plug numbers in, they put them in the wrong places, they mess up the negative signs, and have no idea that they've made a mistake because they're not looking at the picture. All right, so what is this slope? When I go journey from the left point to the right point, I go up about this far and I go right that far. And so my increase, I'm going from -1 to +3. And how far is that? That's 4 units, isn't it? 4 units. If you're on graph paper, you could just simply count it off. But here I've got to kind of look at it. So my rise is +4. And what's my run? All right, well, when I go from -4 to +5, then I've gone, how many? 9 units, because there were 4 here and 5 there. So this is a +9. So rise and run, 4 and 9 respectively. This tells us that the slope is 4/9. So slope is 4/9. Now if you plug those numbers into a formula and get something backwards or screw up a negative sign, without a sketch, you won't know that you're screwed up. So again, I just want to hammer that point home for those of you who really want to do well. Okay, now then, we need to find the y-intercept in order to complete the problem. So I'm going to make room by erasing this, but remember that our y-intercept, we believe, is going to be somewhere between 0 and 1. That's my estimate based upon the picture. Again, I'm not using graph paper, so I could be off by a little bit. We'll see.